Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Crosman 1377, Chrony and review. Now, I've already done a Chrony on this gun already. I just haven't done a review on it, but I wanted to re-Chrony it for you guys because some changes have been made to this gun. One of which is I had to replace the barrel with a new 1377 barrel. The one that was in it turned out to be defective. I'm still having some ups and downs in velocities. It should be more consistent, but it's still having ups and downs. And I put a 2240 transfer port in this gun because the original 1377 transfer port was damaged because it was in the barrel cockeyed. And of course it damaged that barrel too, being like that. And so I did have a replacement barrel on hand in my parts collection, as well as that 2240 transfer port. So I put them in. I gained a couple of FPS, but not much, because the barrels are also part of the detune part. There's three things that Crosman do to detune this pistol for Canada. One is a bleed hole in the back of the valve. The other is a very small pisser hole, I call it, in the transfer port. And of course, where the transfer port goes into the barrel itself, into that seating area, that center hole is also very small. Okay? So no matter what you do, in that case, if all you do is upgrade the transfer port, basically, which is what I did in the end game, other than replacing with a stock barrel, you gain a couple of FPS, but very, very little, okay? But at least it's more consistent, and it did help with a couple of FPS for the speed. Now we're going to run a couple of shots of Crosman Premier 7.4 grain pointed pellets first. Second up is Prometheus 6.4 grain pointed. Third up is Prometheus 5.5 grain wad cutters. And we're going to do 2 shots of each over the Chrony, each at 10 pumps. And then we'll fire off 1 or 2 shots each at 5 pumps. And then we'll talk about the gun. First shot, Premier pointed 7.4 grain, 10 pumps. 426. Second shot, 420. Prometheus 6.4 pointed. .433. .429. .5.5 grain Prometheus wad cutter, 10 pumps, first shot. 490. Second shot, 5.5 grain. 500, right on the button. Nice. Okay, so 5 pumps. Crosman Premier pointed 7.4 grain, first shot. 324. I could shoot this thing all day at 5 pumps. Second shot. 330. .4 grain Prometheus pointed. First shot, 5 pumps. 316. These are a bit tighter fitting pellet too, and they're also no lead. Second shot, 316, error 3. Let's do that again. .312. 5 pumps, 5.5 grain, Prometheus wad cutter. First shot. 401. Last shot. 346. That's almost a 50 FPS drop. Let's try that one more time. .390. So I still have a little bit of ups and downs going on with my velocity. I'll have to take the gun apart again another time and see if I can figure out what's happening there. Because I am experiencing still ups and downs, which it should stay more consistent. Anyways, overall though, it's a great gun. Definitely worth the 78 bucks I paid for it. Had they done a proper job with the barrel and the transfer port to begin with, I would have just left the gun alone. Because it wasn't doing too bad. But it was kind of like, these numbers aren't quite where it should be. I've sold a lot of these guns in the past. I used to sell guns for a living at one time. And I've been repairing a lot of different makes and models of pellet guns for many years. And doing modification parts, of course, as well, and upgrades. So I know what these guns should actually be shooting at, which is pretty much about where this one's shooting at right now. And the only change was getting rid of the defective barrel for a properly done barrel, which is still a Crosman 1377 factory barrel. And I put in a 2240 transfer port into this thing because that's all I had. I didn't have any of the little small pisser transfer ports kicking around. But they do 3 basic detunes to this gun for Canada. One of which is a bleed hole in the back of the valve to allow extra air to escape. The other one is a very small pisser hole transfer port. And of course the third one is when they do the barrel inlet for where the transfer port sits. The hole, the very center hole where the air actually goes through, is actually also very small. Okay, so even adding the 2240 transfer port in there really doesn't do a whole lot for the gun. It might be like a 5 or 8 FPS difference, but that's going to be about it because of the way they do that main center hole up the barrel on this gun. And I have seen the differences myself side by side between the American barrel versus the Canadian one, and of course transfer ports and so on. Okay, so I know all the differences with these guns and what they do to them. Either way, still for virtually an all-Canadian gun, minus the transfer port, which only gave us a couple of FPS, the gun shoots rather well. Even at 5 pumps, you could shoot this thing all day long and not really get tired. Once you get past that 5 pumps, it gets very difficult to pump this gun. I would not want to be shooting this thing even for a half an hour straight without several breaks, because pumping it up 10 times, it gets really hard. It will dump all 10 pumps, it'll dump 15 pumps, it'll dump 20 pumps. And the speed increase between 10 to 15, 15 to 20 is very minimal increase with the way the gun is sitting. So you're really not gaining much by all that over pumping action. The only thing you're gaining is an extremely sore hand and wrist. Okay, so if you're into that, hey, go for it. The accuracy of these guns is actually very good. You do have adjustable elevation and windage control through the stock sight. You can upgrade to a steel breech. You can put on Williams notched or Williams Peeps targeting sight systems on these guns. Certainly the front sight is actually pretty good on it. You should actually paint it white though on the front of the edge of the blade, because when you're going black against a black target, it's very hard to see, especially in the daytime outside. but even in the shop in here, having that black front sight is very hard against the black target. Now, as far as knockdown power, this is 177 caliber, and being under 500 feet per second, you are not going to be able to increase a lot of energy. In fact, when you go to 500 and over 500 feet per second with this stock gun using 5.5 grain Prometheus pellets, you are definitely going to lose energy compared to running a 7.4 grain lead pellet. Okay, so you are losing energy with hyper pellets. You gain speed, but you lose energy. That's a big thing, which also means you lose distance, you lose accuracy out of the gun at distance, and so on. So even though hyper pellets can be kind of fun to go, hey look, my gun shoots 570 feet per second. Yeah, but it's got no energy. It's useless. Okay? Hyper pellets have a placement in them, but just they're not the best solution in non-PAL air guns, other than to get you, up to that glorious 495 or slightly above 495 feet per second, so you can have bragging rights that your gun does over 500 feet per second. Okay, I mean, but you have no real energy to deal with there. So now, stock gun though, 100% perfectly functional, non-defective, 1377. Still does not have enough whack power in it for knocking down these metal resetting targets properly. Not at 10 meters. You could pull it off at about 5 to 8 meters. How many shots it's going to take to knock down one of the targets? Unknown. I'd have to actually try that as an experiment and get back to you. Otherwise, don't hold your breath too much. It is a 177. This gun in a 22 caliber version, the 1322, running at the same speeds, would actually have 80% more energy output and better distance with that energy and longer range capabilities too. That's a given. And I have tested the 1322 on my channel. I have the shooter's kit, so feel free to check out the videos I have on the Crosman 1322 and any other 1377 videos I have kicking around too, and you can see what's going on there. This gun in itself, though, at $100 Canadian, I would probably say no. I don't think it's really worth $100 Canadian, because you can, I mean, that's Canadian Tire's price. You can find them far cheaper online for under $100 Canadian. I paid $78 Canadian, which I think, is a really good price, though it would have been nice not to have to swap out for a proper barrel and a transfer port. But if I would not have gotten a defective gun, then I would have said yes, the same thing. $78 is a good price for this gun, totally unaltered and not being defective. Okay, this one was defective. I did not care about taking it back to get it replaced with another one. I figured I had parts on hand already because I spent years repairing guns. I did save back some of my parts because I knew I'd, stay with air guns, and I have stayed with air guns, just not into the repairing and not as addictive until most recently. If you've been on my channel, I've got a bazillion pellet gun videos of all the new guns I've been collecting. And I am going to be getting back into repairing guns, and as soon as I can get a lathe with even a milling attachment to start with, I will be getting into making custom mod parts again for guys, and for myself too. Anyways, no, I will not be getting back into any wooden grips or wooden pump arms. That is not going to happen. I am so done with woodworking. I'm sorry, guys. I can't do it anymore. I'm kind of done with it. I like munching metal better these days, and just doing that and repairing guns and shooting them and having fun. But anyways, great gun overall. I would say unaltered condition, out of the box, no problems with it. I would definitely say that yes, it's worth $78 as far as I'm concerned, what I paid for it. Not worth $100, that's for sure. Would not touch it. I'd rather put an extra $20 or $30 into a Crosman 1322 shooter's kit, which I actually did get one for $120 brand new last summer, and it was 22 caliber, same pistol but 22 caliber. Came with a stock, came with glasses, came with an ammo pouch, stuff like that, ready to rock pretty much. That was the better deal for like $20 more. So for $78, it's definitely a good deal all day long. And it is a decent little gun. At 5 pumps, it does still have some decent power to it, so you can still shoot out at paper, at least at 10 meters at 5 pumps. So decent gun though. I really like these guns. I love a lot of the Crosman stuff. They do a lot of good stuff. As of late, they have been, or as of recent, they have been actually coming up with some guns with some defects in them, which were not amusing. So they do need to step up their game on quality control. You know, but otherwise, generally, Crosman guns, you usually can buy them with confidence, knowing that you're getting a really good gun. And they do have a really good warranty on their guns as well. So they do service what they sell. It's not a big issue. And they are quality. That's the thing. I mean, this is mainly all metal. The only plastic on the gun is going to be your safety, your breech, your rear sight, your front sight, your pump arm, and your grips. Everything else is metal on this thing. Oh, and your barrel band, of course, but that's part of your front sight. That's plastic. But otherwise, I mean, this gun will last you for years and years and years and years and years of shooting fun. You know, as do many of the Crosman air guns, you know, with little to no maintenance at all. You know, other than you got to oil the suckers once in a while when you're supposed to. Now, speaking of oiling, I got a bit of a complaint from a guy once, a couple of people actually, on one of my videos about how to properly oil these things. I'm going to show you up close here. You see this part of the pump cup? Okay, you've got to put a couple of drops of pellet gun oil, or I would recommend, because I use it and been using it for like decades, SAE 30 non-detergent motor oil. SAE 30 non-detergent motor oil. Okay, put a couple drops on the pump cup, and then just do this a couple times. Work it in there, especially when the gun is brand new out of the box. The pump was drier than a bone on this thing. I was really not impressed. So it actually took probably about 6 or 7 drops of oil, and I do mean drops, and just doing this and then pumping it up all the way, compressing it, firing it off. You can dry fire this gun, it's completely safe, okay? And then work it and work it and work it, and it'll break in and you'll be fine, okay? And then don't oil it again for about 200 shots. The other part you need to oil on these guns is actually the little O-ring here on your bolt probe, okay? You got to put 1 drop of oil on that about every couple hundred shots as well, okay? Do that, the gun should be trouble-free for years and years of use, okay? Should be. Okay, depends on how you treat your stuff, okay? But generally, if you're treating your stuff great, it's going to last you for years before you ever have to even think about a repair on this thing. So, not much goes wrong with them. Very little, in fact. Anyways, as far as star rating goes, without talking about or counting the fact that I had to replace my barrel in my transfer port, I would give this gun definitely a solid 4 out of 5. Okay? Where I have it right now, I'm still going to stay with 4 out of 5. That's where I'm at with this gun. It doesn't get any better than that. Okay? And as far as price goes, don't pay $100 for it. Wait for it to go on sale for, you know, well below $100. You know, so $70, $80. You know, we're talking Canadian dollars here, by the way, too. And that would be probably about your best price. Otherwise, invest your money in a 1322 shooters kit, or even a 1322. Because 22 caliber is definitely a lot more whack power. So if you actually want to knock down metal targets and stuff, this is not the gun for you. Okay, you need the 1322 or even a 2240 if you want the CO2 gas. But if you're okay with the pumper, 1322 is definitely the way to go. Definitely got some punch authority for knocking down those metal targets with, and punching paper, among other things. Anyways, thank you for taking the time to check out this review and have patience throughout it. Do stay tuned for more videos, more reviews too, more gun stuff, lots more gun stuff. Summer's here. We're going to have a lot of fun this summer. Anyways, thanks again. Catch you on the next one. Ciao.